God, it's Friday and happy new month to you, Nigeria. Welcome to the first day of August and a brand new edition of Daybreak Live Extra right here on Dominion Television. My name is Oluwayemi Adelakun.
And I am Samson Balogo, and together we are so excited to kick off this fresh morning with you on a refreshing, informative and soul-lifting note.
We're coming to you live this beautiful Friday morning from Ibadan, and guess what? The weather is in our favor. Forecast for today, Friday the 1st of August, shows Ibadan waking up to mild clouds and sunshine with temperatures ranging from 22 degrees Celsius in the early morning to highs of about 30 degrees Celsius later in the afternoon. Across Nigeria, we are looking at a blend of sunshine and scattered showers, particularly in parts of Lagos, Port Harcourt and Abuja. So keep those umbrellas handy just in case.
Yes, and after that, it's a perfect weather to ease into the weekend and, of course, start the month on a hopeful note. On Daybreak Live Extra today, we've got a power-packed lineup today. So sit tight and don't touch that. Stay right here with us.
Coming up shortly is our Daybreak News Update, bringing you top national and global stories you need to know this morning. Then we'll head straight into the newspaper headlines and analysis, where we break down what's making waves across the dailies.
All right, and our big story today couldn't be more important or timely. We are looking at food insecurity in Nigeria. What must be done? Hunger is a national emergency that demands real solutions. We'll be joined by a very insightful guest, Pokuola Samuel, popularly known as POS, team lead of Pillar Dot Project Food Bank, who will be sharing how his organization is tackling hunger at the grassroots level and what must change in policy and action.
Definitely, from skyrocketing food prices to the impact of insecurity on farming communities, to how Nigerians are coping day to day. We'll dive deep into all of that and more. Don't miss it.
Yes, you can't afford to miss that. And as always, we round things off with Trend Watch, giving you a snapshot of current affairs, social media conversations, and what Nigerians are really talking about this Friday morning. It's
a full house on Daybreak Live Extra. Of course, myself and Samson this morning, and we are so glad to have you with us. Grab that cup of tea, get comfortable. It's going to be an insightful ride.
Definitely, it's going to be an insightful
ride. Good morning, Samson.
Good morning to you. It's Friday.
Yeah, it's Friday.
Once it's Friday, it always comes with a kind of energy.
That excitement that you have time.
And of course, that's how it is to everyone out there.
Definitely.
Good to have you here again.
Good to have you here, Samson. Good morning.
Well, of course, good morning to you.
Good
you
morning.
Look radiant this morning.
Thank you. You look good yourself.
Thank you.
We do hope that you change on that sponsor thing that you always talk about.
Well, I prefer to be... we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
You know, it's not time to talk about that now.
Okay.
But then let's talk about something really interesting. The FCCPC, coming out to say Nigerians should really shun fake products and, of course, price inflation. I think what we have done to ourselves as Nigerians is worse than what the government has done to Nigerians. Because if you put it side by side with how Nigerians want to make too much profit on products, and of course, in that process, they adulterate some, and then that could... it seems like too many people do not know what exactly this is going to cause. And if we are talking about how about health and safety, if you are selling fake product to people and they are still going to use this product, what will happen to them? You are smiling to the bank, but what would they be doing when you are smiling to the bank? These are things we should be talking about. I
think you're very spot on. I also feel like if some persons should have a shot at governance, they will definitely be worse than, the people in governance today. And they're looking at the fact that we don't just have fake products, we also have fake drugs. And then they don't really care what will happen to these people. I think about a few weeks ago, I watched a video where...
cosmetics.
Exactly, where a particular... That story talks about the fact that a particular woman in a market, is always mixing something with yam flour, and people will definitely buy, and it has led to a lot of persons trying to maybe get a surgery because of the damages it has done to their system. So apart from that, I think we also have issues with fake drinks. Yesterday I bought a drink, and then for someone like me that I'm used to that kind of drink, when I tasted it, this is not what I used to buy. Down to water. I think we have a lot to do. This market should be raided, and they should not be informed, because how is it possible that when you are going to a market, maybe all this computer village, people will tell you, be careful. As a matter of fact, you dare not go to buy some laptop or some equipment without going with someone that knows about it. That's how bad it has become. People sell fake drugs, fake drinks, fake water. That's why sometimes I rather buy stuff at the mall, because I feel I mean, I should be able to get original. But it's not really like that even all the time.
And that has actually eroded, consumer trust.
Yeah.
Nigerians don't believe in Nigerian products. They always believe, oh, whatever is imported is original. Whereas it should not be so. I think that's one of the reasons the economy has been, so bad lately, because Nigerians do not want to buy Nigerian products. And when they want to buy, even when they see quality products, which are Nigerian products, they do not want to pay premium prices. So it's a challenge that even business owners in Nigeria are suffering, the effect of that right now. See, the problem is Nigerians want to be creative, but when you are being creative, please be modest about it. There should be human feelings. These drugs you are producing, people are definitely going to put them in their mouths and swallow them, which means it's going to damage their system. Electrical appliances can actually cause so much damage that not just one household, they could escalate to 2, 3, 4, 5 structures. Meaning that if there is a fire incident caused by fake electrical products, you have done too much damage than the amount you have actually made. So we should be more reasonable about what we do and why we do them.
I think greed is one thing that we need to deal with, and apart from that, I think when these people are caught, let them be dealt with severely, so that even if they want to think about doing something like that, they will remember what they went through. I mean, when they were caught, because I feel a lot of them have a way of buying themselves out of the situation when they are caught. So I think it boils down to the security operatives. When these people are caught, to make sure that they face the law, I mean, properly, and they pay enough fine that even they will have to go and look for it somewhere else. Because I mean, the economy is biting really, but that is not a justification for you to say that, okay, I want to sell fake products to people. You are going to damage the lives of people. A lot of persons have died due to fake products. So it's something we should look at, really.
Also, it has damaged some brand reputations, because if you are adulterating a particular product, automatically some people who don't even know that there are some people somewhere who adulterate products who believe, oh, this is coming from this particular brand. And it's a challenge, because the economy is not going to smile on them. It's definitely going to crush that business, meaning that you have done too much damage just by producing, fake products. I mean, you are adulterating a particular product, and then you are still putting their name on it. If you want to do that on your own, please put your own name. And do not damage their own. The thing
is, they are so smart about it, you can't even dictate. The only time you can dictate is if you open the product. And can you test the product in the market? Just like the drink I bought yesterday.
You cannot determine by concept. You only determine by content.
When you open it, so it's an issue. They are so smart about it, and then I just hope that we can work on this. And maybe, I mean, the real brands can partner with, I mean, security operatives to ensure that these people, are brought to book. And that's how.
And also, what it has done is to encourage criminal activity, because if so many people are doing this and they are not being caught, they have suddenly become overnight billionaires because they are adulterating products, they are making fake products. Automatically, some other people will venture into such business, thinking, oh, this is the other lucrative, and it's a lucrative business. I came across someone who was always scouting for bottles of expensive alcoholic drinks. And what he does is he adulterates, and then he makes it look so good and sell at clubs at night. So it's a challenge. And Nigerians who do nightlife will not know that some of these products are adulterated. They won't. I was talking to someone and said, look, they won't give you that as the first bottle, especially when it is alcohol. They will give you one which is original, and when they know that you're already in the realm, then they bring the adulterated one. So you might not know the difference, or you might not
unless you taste it.
Unless you taste, even if you taste, when you're already drinking, automatically you will not know how
exactly. You'll not be able to differentiate.
There won't be too much difference. You won't be able to differentiate. So that's how they do things. And if you continue to do this, do not forget that your family members will end up being on that table one day.
Exactly.
And of course, they are
when you throw stones. And definitely, I think that it's a Nigerian thing somehow, not just Nigeria alone, because I want to believe that someone traveled down from a country and came to Nigeria and tasted our Coke here, and the person was very shocked that it tastes differently over there, because there are some products that you cannot take to those markets, compared to what we can allow in this country. So I think the loopholes are too much, I mean, for all these fake products to move around.
And lastly, before we go, very quickly, it actually creates a poor investment climate. If some investors are coming to your country and they know that what you do is to adulterate product, they know that their business is definitely going to suffer the consequences. So definitely they are not coming. So it's a challenge. But of course, I know the government is doing so much. I think there was a time NAFDAC did a lot of crackdown on these people and then arrested so many of them during the era of Professor Dora Akuneli. That time there was, huge crackdown on, fake products. But I still believe in the government, and I know they are still going to do more. And that takes us to the end of this segment of the show this morning. We say very thank you for being a part of the show so far. Kindly link up with us on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Dominion Broadcast, and on X, formerly Twitter, at Dominion Cast. You can also watch us live on our website, www.dominion.org.ng, dominion.org.ng. Then do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Dominion Broadcast. We'll go on a short break now, and when we return, we get straight to our news desk.
Ever dreamed of creating the next virus series or telling powerful stories on the big screen? This summer, your passion for TV can become a reality. Our TV Practical Summer Class is calling all future scriptwriters, producers, directors, video editors, reporters, news editors, and on-air personalities. Get hands-on training from industry professionals. Learn to shoot with professional cameras, master editing software, and produce your own content from start to finish. This isn't just a class. It's your launch pad. Don't just watch TV, make it. Enroll now. Spaces are limited. Visit our website on www.dominion.org.ng or call the number 0706 777 9435 0706 777 9435. Dominion Television, your channel of choice.
Good morning. This is the break news on Dominion Television. I am Oluwayemi Adelakun. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has approved a one-year extension for the Comptroller General of the Nigeria Customs Service, Bashir Adeniyi, whose tenure was originally due to expire on August 31, 2025. According to a statement issued by the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, the extension is aimed at enabling Adeniyi to consolidate ongoing reforms and complete strategic initiatives under the administration's renewed hope agenda. Among the critical projects highlighted are the continued modernization of the Nigeria Customs Service, the full rollout of the National Single Window Project, and the effective implementation of Nigeria's commitment under the African Continental Free Trade Area Protocol. Nigeria now has a policy for compulsory drugs and substance tests on all tertiary institutions and senior secondary school students before gaining admissions and during their studies. Minister of Education Tunji Alausa, at the signing of agreement with the chairman of the National Drugs Law Enforcement Agency, Buba Mawa, said President Bola Tinubu is very concerned about the increasing rate of substance abuse on various campuses. In another development, the federal government has approved a 50% increase in scholarship grants across all academic levels as part of a major overhaul of its national scholarship program. The Nigerian Copyright Commission has secured the suspension of Moviebox.ng, a suspected piracy online site. NCC, in a statement by its Director General, Dr. John Assain, said the breakthrough was possible with the help of the Nigerian Internet Registration Association. Assain also warned the general public against falling prey to sites that promise free streaming and downloads, as they do not only infringe on copyright but also target unsuspecting users exposed to malware, financial scams, identity theft, and other fraudulent activities. The Oyo State government has expressed its plans to embark on a digital address system for street and house numbering across Oyo State. The Commissioner for Lands, Housing and Urban Development, Williams Akin Fumilayo, made a disclosure at a meeting with Smart City Development Consult Limited, held at the Ministry's conference room. According to the commissioner, the project is part of the promise made by the governor, Seyi Makinde's administration. Traders at the popular Bolage International Market, popularly called Gbagi Market, in Ibadan have berated the Oyo State government over alleged conversion of car park at the market to new shops. The traders lamented hardship posed by the new shop on their daily living, saying most of them, particularly petty traders, cannot afford to pay 7.5 billion naira to buy the newly constructed shops being sold by the state government. Some of the traders who spoke with journalists described construction of the new shops at the car park of the market, allegedly carried out at midnight, as unfortunate. There's growing tension in the country's healthcare sector as the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors is threatening to resume its suspended strike if its demands are not met within the next 3 weeks. The warning follows the association's July National Executive Council meeting held in Calabar, where doctors decried worsening working conditions, unpaid salaries and lack of systemic reform.
The NEC calls on Federal Ministry of Health to facilitate seamless and sustained employment of doctors to curb the alarming rates of brain drain. The NEC urgently calls for the immediate inclusion of medical and dental house officers in the civil service scheme and insists on the prompt payment of all their rightful emoluments. The NEC urges the state governors to prioritize the welfare of doctors and other health care workers in their various state-owned hospitals and training institutions as a means of curbing immigration and maintaining industrial harmony.
The association also condemned the failure of key regulatory bodies to fully recognize qualifications earned by doctors.
The Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria, MDCN, to immediately restore the recognition of West Africa Postgraduate Membership Certificate to their previous status and call on National Postgraduate Medical College of Nigeria to commence the issuance of membership certificates to deserving candidates in line with the best global practices. The NEC demand that the federal government immediately constitute and inaugurate then empower full and functional board of management for MDCN, Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria, and all federal tertiary health institutions to ensure accountability, transparency, and efficiency in the management of these institutions.
The National Executive Council of NARD is expected to reconvene in 3 weeks to review the government's response and decide on the next line of action. In Cross River State, nurses and midwives have joined the ongoing 7-day nationwide warning strike declared by the National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives. The action follows a 15-day ultimatum issued to the federal government over unmet demands affecting their welfare and service delivery.
We have just a 9-point demand from the national leadership of the association, ranging from one, the gazetting of the nurses scheme of service, which was approved since 2012. We also have the creation of the Department of Nursing in the Federal Ministry of Health. We also have the employment of more nurses and provision of equipment, hospital equipment in our hospital facilities. We sympathize with our patients. We are not too happy that we are going on strike. But then these issues have been lingering for a long while.
As the strike enters its early days, there are fears that the situation could escalate if the government fails to take urgent steps. The ruling All Progressives Congress in Lagos State has described the boast by People's Democratic Party to unseat it in the 2027 general elections as empty and mere illusion. The Lagos State APC spokesman Seyi Oladejo made his remark in the statement issued in Lagos. Oladejo, however, added for the benefit of the public and in defense of facts over fiction, APC had found it necessary to set the record straight. The APC spokesperson said that in contrast, APC remained the most formidable political movement in Nigeria today, grounded in progressive ideals, national unity and result-driven leadership. The federal government has been urged to step up the onslaught against the terror groups killing and destroying innocent people and their properties in Zamfara and other parts of the northwestern state. A chieftain of the All Progressive Congress in Zamfara State, Abdullahi Shinkafi, made the call while briefing journalists in Gusau, the state capital, condemning what it described as the barbaric and senseless slaughter of 38 kidnapped victims by bandits for their inability to pay ransom.
Innocent people were kidnapped since February. They were in captivity for good 5 months. 83 of them were kidnapped, including male and female. The armed bandit kingpin imposed ransom of 11 million naira per head. 18 kidnapped victims, their relations were able to pay 18 million naira.
Shinkafi advised Governor Dauda Lawal to maintain his earlier stance of not negotiating with criminals, adding that the bandits cannot be trusted, citing past negotiations in which the terrorists failed to live up to the terms of the peace dialogues. An acclaimed Ilorin-based Islamic cleric, Abdurrahman Bello, accused of killing and dismembering the body of a final year student of the Kwara State College of Education, Ilorin, Asad Lawal, in connivance with 4 others, have been found guilty and sentenced to death by hanging. Justice Ajayi would describe the offense by the prime suspect as the highest degree of human wickedness and a cruel act, held that his defense in court showed he had a preconceived intention of killing the victim for money, ritual process. She also said that the confession of love by the prime suspect for the victim with intention to marry her, as stated in his defense, was a concocted lie to deceive the court. In business, the Federal Ministry of Justice and the Nigerian Communications Commission have stressed the need for synergy to address the problems confronting the telecom sector that have led to investment drought. Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Lateef Fagbemi-San and Executive Vice Chairman CEO of NCC Dr. Aminu Maida underscored this pressing need at the first annual workshop for Attorney Generals on emerging issues in the communications sector held in Lagos. In his keynote on the occasion, the Justice Minister said digital transformation is critical to improvement in socio-economic development of a nation, adding that a well-regulated communication sector implies enacting and implementing laws and regulations that ensure protection of rights, including right to privacy, data protection, and consumer rights, as well as regulations that support the ease of doing business in Nigeria. In sports, former Nigeria international Brown Ideye believes the Super Eagles would face a Herculean task in their renaming 4 matches in the qualification tournament for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. The Super Eagles are languishing in their Group C section with 7 points, where South Africa currently tops with 13 points, while both Rwanda and Benin follow suit with 8 points each. Speaking on the Super Eagles' chances, Ideye said the Super Eagles had been undone in many of the previous matches, adding they must be mentally strong to break the rot to secure a ticket to World Cup 26 to be jointly hosted by USA, Canada and Mexico. You can visit our website on www.dominion.org.ng to listen to us live and interact with us. You can also follow us across our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube and LinkedIn at Dominion Broadcast and X at Dominion Cast. That ends Daybreak News. I am Oluwayemi Adelakun saying thank you for watching and good morning.
dreamed of creating the next virus series or telling powerful stories on the big screen? This summer, your passion for TV can become a reality. Our TV Practical Summer Class is calling all future scriptwriters, producers, directors, video editors, reporters, news editors, and on-air personalities. Get hands-on training from industry professionals. Learn to shoot with professional cameras, master editing software, and produce your own content from start to finish. This isn't just a class, it's your launch pad. Don't just watch TV, make it. Enroll now. Spaces are limited. Visit our website on www.dominion.org.ng or call the number 0706 777 9435 0706 777 9435. Dominion Television, your channel of choice.
Thank you for staying with us, ladies and gents. This is newspaper headlines analysis, and of course I have quite a number of stories here with me this morning. Let's start from the blueprint. I have a headline that says, amid legal tussle, ADC crisis deepens. Deputy Chair Nafiu declares self chairman. When I read the story, the person who used to be the deputy national chairman of the ADC, came out to declare himself the interim chairman of the party, saying that he's not going to allow some people to just come and hijack the party from them. Speaking of, the coalition people, the likes of Amechi, the likes of Atiku, the likes of Peter Obi and David Mark, Idris Secondas, and a whole lot of others. We'll look out for how that will play out. Is he going to take over the chairmanship from the person who is there or not? And then he said the matter will be taken to court, should this matter not be resolved, within the party. Away from that headline, let's also talk about this one that says direct sale of Dangote fuel will disrupt supply chain. That is coming from Nogasa. It's ploy to monopolize markets. That's coming from Petron. These bodies have come out to say quite a number of things that it's not like maybe they do not, appreciate what Dangote is doing for the country, trying to make, feel accessible. If you look at what is going on in the country, about, over 10 months now, we've not really seen, scarcity when it comes to fuel. Yeah, though it might be expensive, but then people can still buy when they want to. And of course, Nogasa and Petron are coming out to say that, he's trying to monopolize the market, which is not good for them. However, Dangote is saying, no, I just want to be good to the people. I want to make sure that they can buy fuel, when they want to. And of course, he has increased his barrel, what is going to be producing per day, and then people are still complaining about that, especially, from these bodies that, what is this man trying to do? Yes, we support what you are doing, but then do not try to monopolize the market. No, I want to listen to what my analysts will have to say concerning that, is Dangote right to do all that is doing, or is he trying to monopolize the market, just like, Nogasa and Petron, just like what they're saying? Away from that, let's also check this headline that says, federal government, state, local government, more 8.8 million jobs across 8,809 electoral wards. Let's cross over from the blueprints. Let's check what is going on Daily Independent. I have this headline that says, Nigeria facing serious crisis in education, governors lament. Honestly, I think, it's just not about the insecurity that we have, across the country. I think there's insecurity in the education sector, even in the health sector. And of course, we've seen a lot of students, being out of school due to maybe one thing or the other. Just recently, ASU threatening to go on strike, and some universities actually went on strike. And apart from that, I also like the fact that, when the current president of the country, when he came on board, he said ASU strike is gone, and he has been able to manage that, for quite a number of months now. However, we look forward to a situation whereby we won't even have to talk about ASUU, I mean, for 5-10 years. I mean, that's how we can actually go. It is possible because we know we have what it takes to ensure that. We look forward to changes in that area. Looking away from that, let's check this headline that says strike. We are working to resolve nurses' grievances. That's coming from federal government, and that headline as this rider withdraws controversial circular on nurses' wages. Honestly, I think the nurses, there was an ultimatum that they gave to the federal government, and then when nothing was done, they embarked on the strike. And when I read the story, the nurses are saying, you see, even when we exhaust this 7-day strike, and then nothing is showing forward from the federal government, we are going to, extend the strike, by giving the government ultimatum first, and then we embark on a long strike should the government not, come to our aid, concerning their pay, their remuneration, and things like that. Honestly, I think at the end of the day, Nigerians, will suffer all of these because a lot of patients, are left unattended to. And of course, I mean, the nurses are saying it's not like maybe we don't care about our patient, but we also care about our own well-being as well. And it is when we are okay, that's when we can take, adequate care of the patient. At this point, I think both the association, the nurses, the midwives, and the federal government should have a closure. However, I also read a report where the nurses are saying they are not going to grant any invitation if it does not look like the federal government is ready to listen to their pleas and their cries. I do hope that we can, the government will be able to sort this out, with the nurses, so that they can return back to work and continue, to save more lives. Away from that, let's check this headline that says, NLC reports federal government to ILO over meddling in trade union activities. Honestly, I think, these people have come out to complain, severally about the fact that federal government has been interfering in their activities, and they have said that, regardless of what the government is trying to do, they will continue to agitate, for the right of the people. Away from that, let's also check this headline that says, FEC OK's Lagos Airport Terminal Rehabilitation orders at 900 billion naira. Away from that, let's check a New Telegraph. I have this headline that says, Tinubu plans financial support for 8.8 million persons at grassroots level. Present initiative for the economically active at NEC. FEC OK's 68.7 billion naira for varsities, hospital, rural business, electricity. This is a lot. I mean, look at the figures. Sometimes, it's a lot to think about when we hear about the youth figures, and then people are still complaining. I mean, members of that sector are still complaining. Look at the nurses and the midwives, even the doctors, they are still complaining. Whereas we have this money, being pumped into, most of the sectors, and nothing is seen, no positive, changes whatsoever. So I feel like, before governments will say we want to pump this certain amount into this particular sector, ensure that there's a good audit system, ensure that you monitor how this money is being spent, not just about, putting out the big figures. We want to see how the money is being spent. Away from that, let's also check this one that says, strikes, federal government approves policy to regulate trade unions. Okay, the NLC, the TUC are saying the government is meddling in their, in their activities, whereas the government is saying we just want to monitor your policies. We just want to ensure that you are doing these things right. Okay, I think these people, both parties can have a closure and then decide on how to, settle all of these, grievances or confusion, and then, get clarity on this matter. Okay, we are not trying to meddle in your matters. We're not trying to interfere unnecessarily. We just want to ensure that your policies are right. Away from that, let's cross over to Nigerian Tribune. I have this headline that says, Nigeria, influential nation of unlimited possibilities. That is coming from the U.S. government. And I also read the report, coming from the United States, that, Nigeria has a lot of resources if they want to do better or take care of some of the grievances that the people are complaining about in the country. So I do hope, this will look like or make it or spur the government to do better. Of course, away from that headline, I have this one that says, PDP fought arbitrary street renaming in Lagos, threatens legal action. Okay, that's all we can take this morning. And of course, it's time to take a short break. And when we come back, I'll have my analysts in the studio that will help me make sense of some of the top stories that we have this morning. Please stay with us.
dreamed of creating the next virus series or telling powerful stories on the big screen? This summer, your passion for TV can become a reality. Our TV Practical Summer Class is calling all future scriptwriters, producers, directors, video editors, reporters, news editors, and on-air personalities. Get hands-on training from industry professionals. Learn to shoot with professional cameras, master editing software, and produce your own content from start to finish. This isn't just a class, it's your launch pad. Don't just watch TV, make it. Enroll now. Spaces are limited. Visit our website on www.dominion.org.ng or call the number 0706 777 9435 0706 777 9435. Dominion Television, your channel of choice.
Thank you for staying with us, and of course I have my analyst with me this morning. Welcome on board. I have with me Shobo Ali, who is going to help me make sense of some of the top stories that we have this morning. Of course, he's a commentator on national issues and of course a researcher. Okay, let's start from here. I have this headline on the blueprints that says direct sale of Dangote fuel will disrupt supply chain. That's coming from Nogasa, and that headline has its rider. It's ploy to monopolize market. That's coming from Petron. What do you make of this? What do you think Dangote is trying to do? Because I think just recently he increased, his BPD by 50,000, per day. And of course, and these people are saying we appreciate what Dangote is doing, but he's trying to monopolize the market, which might affect us. What do you make of that story?
Well, I think going by what the Dangote refinery is telling Nigerians, to some extent, it's a good news, They are saying that they are going to deploy 40,000
CNG buses,
tankers, for to distribute. But I think it's good. But what the marketers, the Nupeng and the store, what they are saying is that there is already an existing supply networks, supply channels, that if Dangote is allowed to be distributing the product, it can lead to monopolizing the fuel products. And I think by and large, it is important for the two sides, to sit down and put the interest of Nigerians, because what Dangote refineries, what they are telling us is that is distribution channels, is being disrupted by this they call them cabal, distribution cabal. That's the language they use. So, and I think there is a need for the two sides to sit down and look at the possible ways of resolving this issue, because at the end of the day, just like I was reading this morning, what Nupeng said is that by the time, if Dangote is allowed to continue with the distribution, there may be a hike in for price products, and when relevant fight, there's a grass underneath that suffers. So I think it's important for the two sides to sit down and look at the possible ways of resolving it, so that it will not lead to issues, problems, hardship again for Nigerians.
Oh, well, thank you on that. I think that's sorted because, actually, just like you said, what Dangote is trying to do is to make sure that fuel is available for everyone. So if this is not sorted, what he's trying to do might actually, or what he's trying to avoid might be what will later happen at the end of the day.
Yes, exactly.
All right. Away from that, let's also look at this headline that says, amid legal tussle, ADC crisis deepens. Deputy Chair Nafiu declares self-chairman. And when I read the story, I was quite shocked. He used to be the deputy chairman, before this whole coalition thing, and then he declared himself, national chairman, and he also threatened that he would take the matter to court should these not be resolved within the party. What do you make of that? Because I feel this man Ralph Onwusu said that he met with the party stakeholders before taking the decision, before allowing these people into the party.
I've said it times without number that the issue of coalition, and ADC. This is what we will be witnessing, you know, and this is what that will be happening. And this, you know, I don't know, but even before now, Kashuku, the ADC 2023 presidential candidate, already said it that before the coming of Atiku Abubakar, Amici and El-Rufai and others, there used to be National Executive Council in place. But what Ralph Ngosu was telling us is that the former NEC members, they're out already because their tenure has expired. But I think, by and large, you know, this is politics. And, you know, before the issue of coalition came up, I don't think I've ever heard anything from they said the deputy national chairman. But, you know, there is politics in politics. So all this that is happening is all about politics, you know. The article, El-Rufai and Co., they have labeled President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and led federal governments that they are the one instigating crisis and violence in ADC. And you also agree with me that even not for the fact that the big guns, the big elephants are coming to the ADC, all these crises, we will not even hear about it. You understand? So, you know, as the movement, you know, Atiku Abubakar and the likes, as they are also permutating, you know, APC as a party is also permutating. Of course, federal government, you know, the political machineries of the president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, are also permutating. Yoruba will say, "Ara o ni ro okun, ko de ni ro adìẹ." You know, I'm very sure if this persists, if this continues to 2027, you know, we will not have anything called ADC or coalition of all these Atiku Abubakar and the like. So, all these things is just a way of. Don't forget the issue of Labour Party. You know, we have Abure-led Labour Party. We have what's the name of this man? Apapa-led Labour Party.
Yeah.
So, in times like this, you should expect that, you know, APC, you know, will not fold his arms and be looking at all these big political guns to be, you know, organizing themselves, putting themselves together in order to unseat the sitting government. So you should expect more of this. You understand? Just like, you know, just like the way Labour Party was decimated, you know, through Bashiru Akpampa, you know, and Abure. So same thing, you can be very sure that same thing will happen to the ADC. ADC is having so many legal battles. You know, you are talking of Ralph Ngosu, you are talking of Kashuku, you know, you are talking of this deputy chairman. So, you know, it's just a way of, you know, looking for a way to reduce the power and the strength of ADC. You know, by the time this continues, all those that are thinking of moving to ADC, you know, they will have to, you know, step back. You understand? It's either they remain in their party, PDP, or remain in Labour Party, or defect to the ruling party, APC, that presently is having no crisis. And you know that one of the reasons why politicians jump fences, why you move from your party to another party, is when a party is in crisis. You understand? So it is very easy for the people in ADC, you know, most of those people that are there and those that are going there, to gently step out of the party, you know, claiming that the ADC is having crisis. So, you know, it's just all this ADC crisis is a man-made. Even
Ralph Ngosu, I think he granted an interview where he said he was offered 3 ministerial slots, 1 for himself and 2 for other persons that, you know, he would like them to have.
Yes, the federal government has denied that. And the federal government has called on him to bring out an evidence, you know, give us an evidence that, you know, someone consulted you that you should come and be a minister with 2 other with billions of nairas cash gift. So, you know, politics, you can never trust politicians, you know. They say so many things to suit their paymasters, you understand? So, Rafungosu can be saying all those things just to please, you know, his paymasters, you know, allegedly paymasters, the likes of Atiku Abubakar, David Mark and co. So, that you cannot bank on that, you know, it was promised. I doubt, I'm not too sure if someone like Rafungosu, if you can promise him a ministerial appointment with 2 others with billions of naira as a cash gift and he will reject, I'm not too sure. So, but, you know, we are gradually moving.
What if the likes of Atiku and maybe Amaechi offered him more? What do you think? Because we've known Atiku for always, you know, filling that highest bidder position. Just like when Momodu said when they were trying to, you know, run the primaries, you know, Atiku was able to offer those people more than he could offer. What do you think? Don't you think it's a matter of highest bidder now? Yes, federal government might have offered him, you know, something, but then Atiku was able to, not just Atiku, the coalition people entirely, were able to offer him something better. I'm
not too sure Atiku can offer the Rafungosu more than what the federal government will offer him. I'm not too sure.
Okay.
I'm not too sure. You know, coupled with 3 ministerial slots, with billions of naira, how much can Atiku offer the Rafungosu, you know, compared to what the federal government can offer them? I'm not too sure. Possibly, maybe someone in the ruling APC party, maybe someone approached Rafungosu and had discussion with him, you know, if you can do this, this is what we are going to do, even without the consent of the national chairman of the party, even without the consent of the president. Okay. You understand? So, they are not too sure. Yes, definitely looking at all these things, you will have understand that money has already changed hands. You understand? But if federal government is to offer Rafungosu anything, and I don't think Atiku will be in a good state to, you know, counter whatever federal government will offer the Rafungosu. So, you know, whatever Rafungosu is saying now, you know, I don't know. I'm not saying that it is not true, but it's just that you cannot be too sure, and you cannot rely on, you know, politicians. You know, they you know, for them to remain relevant, you know, they say so many things that, you know, most times are not always true.
Okay, away from that, let's talk about the nurses now, the nurses and the midwives. I'm sure you're aware about the strike, and they are saying they will continue the strike regardless of the fact that patients are complaining bitterly. You know, when these issues come up, it's definitely the patients that will suffer. And looking at the fact that even Nigeria as a country, we are even short of hands in terms of nurses and doctors. Now they are on strike, and they are saying they will not grant any interview unless it looks like maybe the federal government is ready, to settle, some of the things that they're asking for. Why do we keep having issues like this? Looking at the fact that the government is aware that we are short of hands, and then they still allow these people to go on strike.
Well, I think, like I said it yesterday, it was due to the nonchalant attitudes of government. Before now, talk of any labor movement, the workers, strike has been the last resort. If you're asking something from the federal government, you're making a demand from maybe federal government, be it state government, government don't really, ordinarily yield to the demand of the workers until they go on strike. And I'm aware that federal government will be meeting them today. Yes, and yesterday the federal government has put something in place. They call it National Industrial something, Act 2025 or thereabouts. That workers will not be allowed to go on strike. Workers strike will not be the last resort. When workers and government are having issues. I think I saw it today. I heard it yesterday, very late yesterday night. And the labor leaders have also replied to government that they are not going to allow intimidation, harassment, looking at what these nurses are asking from the government, establishment of nursing departments in the Federal Ministry of Health. It is just for you to just look for a space. You just look for a room. Equipped it. you give them, they are not asking for too much. Knowing fully well that Nigerians will suffer for this. Go to usage yesterday, they are turning patients back. It's only those on emergency. And even those on emergency, even before the strike, you know, UCH, even when they are at work, you know, it will get to a point in time that they will be rejecting emergency cases. They will be claiming that they no longer have bedding space. So, not to talk of now that they are on strike. Aside from UCH, how many hospital health institutions that we have in Ibadan precisely that are well equipped that people can go to? How many primary health care centers do we have that people can go to? So I think, you know, so sorry, you know, apology to whoever that may be concerned. It is highly irresponsible on the part of government. You know, health sector is a critical sector that you have to make sure that most of these are leaders, they travel abroad. You know, I was reading something on the social media yesterday. I saw this young doctor, they call him Timileyin. You know, they said the guy, you know, performed as, you know, one of the 8 institutions in the United States of America. They said the guy is a Yoruba man.
Yes.
They said the guy performed, you know, exceedingly, you know, even beyond their expectation.
I think he won all 8 awards.
8 awards in that school. That even the head of that school, you know, prostrated for him.
Wow. You
understand? Because the guy happens to be a Yoruba person. So the head of the school believes that that is the highest honor they can, you know, the man prostrated for Timileyin. These are Nigerians. Nigerians are doing exploits. They are doing wonders outside the shores of this country. And all these are leaders, they are going there. You remember former president, Nigeria President Muhammadu Buhari died in the London hospital. At the same time, we have Maman Daura, former Director General DSS, was in the same hospital. Then as former head of state, Absalom Abubakar, was in the same hospital. And we were told that all these people were taken care of by Nigerian nurses. So it's as if our leaders are, you know, somehow wicked, you know, because when you know what is good and you are not doing it, you yourself, you are not good. So it should not go to the extent of having nurses, you know. These are basic things that Nigerians enjoy. How many Nigerians can just wake up? You know, I was discussing with a politician of note in Oyo State recently, and the man was telling me that, Shobo, you know, 3 weeks ago I was in UK. I said, what happened? So I said, I'm having a kind of slight headache. And I know that I cannot get, you know, an original paracetamol in Nigeria. So the man travels to the United Kingdom to go and get the paracetamol. I cannot just believe it.
Don't you think that is extreme? I mean, you can get paracetamol even from.
And these are the people that are
pharmacy.
contested. Yes. This person has contested. I don't want to mention that. You know, these are the people that are planning to govern us. These are the people that are, you know, planning to lead us. So if such person, you know, realize his aspiration, you know, this is what we'll be having. We'll be having nurses going on strike, because he knows that by the time he will be having an headache or is a bit indisposed, we just go to United Kingdom or go to USA to go and take care of it. So it is highly responsible of our leaders to, these are basic things that our people need. Health care, basic health care. So you don't have to wait to nurses, you know, go on strike that you now be calling them, you now be intimidating them, you now be harassing them. You know what is obtainable in other developed nations of the world, even developing nations of the world. So not only,
and Nigeria is also developing.
Nigeria is also developing. So we have better healthcare in developing, not to talk of develop, even in developing nations of the world, we have better healthcare. So what makes Nigeria, and one thing about Nigeria is most of our professionals, wherever they always excel. So what is it that you cannot give to them? They are asking for separate salary structure. Call them to the table. This is what we have. This is what we can offer. Let us do it this way. You guys just meet in the middle, and these issues, you know, these are, you know, issues that can be resolved. Hazard allowance, okay. How much do you think we can give you? They're asking for shift allowances.
Even uniform allowance.
These are simple things. These are things that can be easily resolved without going on strike. But the problem of this, the government, whether state or the federal, is that until these people go on strike, they will not call them. They are missing them today. What stops you from missing them since they gave you 15 days notice? So what happened in the last almost 20 days now? Must you wait till they go on strike? It is irresponsible of the, just 2 days now. I know few, if not some, lives will have been lost. On what account? On the account of nonchalance, on the account of irresponsibility of the federal government. That is too bad. So I think it is important for federal government or state government to, be alive to their responsibility and know that the essence of government, the basic essence of government, is to protect the people, not only through Amotekun, not only through Nigeria Army, or giving them basic amenities, giving them let them live. Basic things that they need, like healthcare, very important. So I think federal government should wake up to its responsibility and not wait until, like a few weeks ago, the police officers, they were protesting for the very first time.
I think sometimes it appears the government will wait for these people to come out to protest before
it is irresponsibility and a very high sense of I don't want to use the word I will not, but it is so sad.
Okay.
It is so sad.
Apart from the nurses, I also have an headline here that talks about you are not treating us well, and it says we want better salaries, not loans. ASU tells federal government, because I think a new loan scheme has been put in place. For these people, and then I think. A lecturer, let me say professor, once said to me that, he has been collecting 450,000 naira since 2009. And up until now, that has not been changed. So we are seeing issues of, no salary increment, even up till now. So do you think it's a leadership problem? Because ASU meets with federal government from time to time, and then they are still complaining of this 2009 agreements that has not, been met. Just very quickly, can you shed more light?
Yes, I think it is all boils down on the fact that, it all boils down on the leadership of the country. All these things are so simple. They are so, you just call it. We are now in 2025, and you are still talking about 2009 agreements.
What about the leadership of ASU from time to time?
But what can they do? The leadership of ASU cannot pay or cannot fulfill these 2009 obligations from their pockets. It will still go to the federal government. I think it is, 2 days ago I was still, we were discussing somewhere, and we are saying that in the last few years of this administration, the Tinubu administration, I don't think ASU has ever go on strike, and so it's a good thing. But whatever that the federal government needs to do in order to make sure that we no longer experience ASU strike, I think they should do it. We should not be talking about 2009 in 2025. It is so sad. It is ridiculous. Very, very sad.
All right, I think it's a good place to leave us this morning. Thank you for being a part of this section where we look at the major headlines across the dailies. And of course, a big thanks to you for joining us this morning. Shobowale, who is a public affairs analyst and of course a researcher. My name is Oluwayemi Adela. What I'm saying, good morning and thank you for watching. Please stay with us. Big story will come up soon.
Ever dreamed of creating the next viral series or telling powerful stories on the big screen? This summer, your passion for TV can become a reality. Our TV Practical Summer Class is calling all future scriptwriters, producers, directors, video editors, reporters, news editors, and on-air personalities. Get hands-on training from industry professionals. Learn to shoot with professional cameras, master editing software, and produce your own content from start to finish. This isn't just a class. It's your launch pad. Don't just watch TV. Make it. Enroll now. Spaces are limited. Visit our website on www.dominion.org.ng or call the number 0706 777 9435 0706 777 9435. Dominion Television, your channel of choice. Ever dreamed of creating the next viral series or telling powerful stories on the big screen? This summer, your passion for TV can become a reality. Our TV Practical Summer Class is calling all future scriptwriters, producers, directors, video editors, reporters, news editors, and on-air personalities. Get hands-on training from industry professionals. Learn to shoot with professional cameras, master editing software, and produce your own content from start to finish. This isn't just a class. It's your launch pad. Don't just watch TV. Make it. Enroll now. Spaces are limited. Visit our website on www.dominion.org.ng or call the number 0706 777 9435 0706 777 9435. Dominion Television, your channel of choice.
All right, good morning once again. Yeah, welcome to The Big Story. You are tuned in to Daybreak Live Extra on Dominion Television. And of course, as you know, this is The Big Story, where we spotlight critical issues that borders Nigerians. We'll be taking critical look at food insecurity in the country today. And I have a special guest in the studio. With him, we'll be making sense of happenings in Nigeria as regards food insecurity. Oftentimes, people discuss this, but then they sweep it under the carpet. This is a challenge, and this is something that really interests Nigerians. And with me in the studio this morning is Bukola Olalekun Samuel, fondly known as POS. He's a passionate humanitarian, SDGs advocate, and a geologist with academic backgrounds from the Polytechnic of Ibadan and the Federal University of Oye-Ekiti. He's also a chartered project manager and a member of the Nigerian Institute of Management, driven by a deep commitment to local impact. He founded the Great Impact Foundation and the Ibadan Food Bank Initiative, reaching over 7,000 beneficiaries through various community projects. He convenes Ibadan Hunger Walk and the Impact Stories to inspire change makers. Also a recipient of multiple awards, including NYSC State Award and the Nigerian Volunteers Award. Of course, he is in the studio with me this morning. Good to have you in the studio, Bukola Olalekun.
Thank you very much for having me this morning. Good morning to you, sir.
All right. Let me ask you this question. What is food insecurity and how prevalent is this in the country called Nigeria?
All right. Good morning, Nigerians. Good morning, everyone watching us all over the world. Basically, food insecurity as presently now is one of the basic things that we all face as Nigerians. So when we are talking about food insecurity, we are talking about accessibility of the common Nigerians, inaccessible of the common Nigerians to be able to afford food, to be able to access and afford the common as little as rice, beans, and garri, and all of these things. So food insecurity is inability of Nigerians, because we are bringing it back to our country, to when they are not able to afford the so-called 3 square meal, the way we call it in a day. Though we say 3 square meal, square is should be 4. It should be 4 square meal, but then we call it 3 square meal because basically everyone should be able to eat at least 4 times a day. 4 times a day. Yes, that is why it is a square meal, not a triangle meal. But then we call it 3 square meal because we feel, okay, let's eat morning, afternoon, and evening. Let's keep one. But now we are now in a situations where several individuals are going to bed hungry. Several individuals are not sure of where their next meal is coming from. This is the situation we find ourselves. And that is why food insecurity is very prevalent now, especially in our country.
Okay, now let me take this very quickly. Nigeria's food insecurity problem is not just about hunger. Yeah. It's about poverty, displacement, climate change, insecurity, failed agricultural policies, and the breakdown in food distribution system. The World Food Programme estimates millions of Nigerians face acute food shortages, while inflation continues to push basic food staples out of reach for the average citizen. From the smallholder farmer in Benue State to displaced family in Borno, the effects of this crisis are real and devastating. As we spotlight this issue right now, today in the studio, we'll speak to him once again as regards this, and everyday Nigerians will also contribute via social media handles, exploring the root causes and, more importantly, the solution. All right. There are key points we will examine this morning. How insecurity and conflict disrupt farming and trade, the challenges of food shortages, storage, transport, and pricing. Government policies, how has it affected things we do in Nigeria, and the effectiveness, and what innovations or interventions can offer hope to Nigerians. And this isn't just policy or policy debate, it's a call to action. Now, very quickly, when we talk about food insecurity in the country, how has government policies affected Nigerians as regards having 4 square meal, as you put it the other time?
All right, thank you very much. Let me start with this. And basically, when we talk about food insecurity before, according to Federal Agricultural Organizations, before, when we are talking about food security, we talked about availability of food. But beyond that, I think as of 2018, food security has gone beyond accessibility. Now we have about 4 pillars now. So when we are talking about food security, we are talking about accessibility. We are talking about availability first. We are talking about accessibility. We are talking about utilizations, and we are talking about stability. So all of these 4 pillars, there is no way, no country can talk about food security if these 4 pillars are not included. Nigeria, for example, we said we do not have problem of there's availability of food. If truly there's availability of food, are we having access to this so-called food? I don't know if you are getting the point, sir. So if truly there's availability, there's accessibility, are we utilizing this so-called food that can all Nigerians says I can have access to this food at every point in time? Okay, after having access to it, after utilizing the food, that is eating the food from every household, can all Nigeria says that, okay, I am sure that this is what I'm eating the next day? That is where the stability comes in. That is where the sustainability comes in. And so that is why we have, these days now, we have the Global Sustainable Development Goals. And in fact, one of the first goal of the SDG is no poverty. So the second goal is zero hunger. So there is no way, when you are talking about we ending poverty, and these Sustainable Development Goals, they gave us till 2030, that is a global one, that, for example, for Nigeria, by 2030, we should end hunger. By 2030, we should ensure that there is no poverty in Nigeria. By 2030, goal 3, we should ensure that there is good health and well-being. By 2030, we should ensure that there is quality education in our country. But the point is, let's start with no poverty.
And where are we as a country?
We have not even started. That is the point.
Let me remind you, there was Millennium Development Goals.
Yes.
There was the SDGs. We had about 20 of them. 17.
Yes.
So these are things that people look out for. And then, as of now, when we talk about agriculture, in the world, where does Nigeria rank?
Okay, let me start with the Global Food Index. I think as of 2018, out of 119 countries that has high rate of food insecurity, I think Nigeria was ranked 113. So we see that we have a long way to go. So now let's go back to the so-called agriculture now. If we look at it, there is no way we can talk about food insecurity without talking about agriculture. And now the question is, are our politicians, our leaders, are they really investing in what we call agriculture? And one other thing that we are not looking, that we are shying away from, we are looking at most of the time is governments are saying, oh, they want to end poverty, they want to do this for Nigerians. But then are they looking? I remember one of the governors in Nigeria, he's always saying that government does not have business in doing business. Governments have no business in business, actually. But then they need reliable organizations, and that is where we are talking about food banks. We have food banks in several countries. In fact, in Nigeria now, I think we have few. Now, that is where I was talking sometimes ago with a media station too, and we are talking about government sharing palliatives and all of that. And I was telling them, most of these things, when you talk about government distributing, you want to end hunger. Now, let the government say they want to distribute food. You always see their party people there. It is because those are the people they can have access to. So, if, for example, if they say you do not have food at home and the government official is calling you to get food, you will be like, it is their party people. And that is why food bank is different. Now, food bank will identify beneficiaries that need this thing. After identifying them, ask them questions. Then they now go to them. And in fact, the first thing is, because when we are talking about sustainability, beyond we saying there is food, the major thing now is sustainability of this food. Okay, if we are giving you food today, where is if you finish today's food, how are you getting tomorrow's food? So, but before we talk about sustainability, let's talk about the present. And that is why I always say, when people talk about food bank, giving food, I tell them, don't talk to a youth about his future if he does not know how he would survive today. So you are talking about, no, let's talk about sustainability, let's end hunger, let's do this. But let's treat the present, You are telling a youth you are a leader of tomorrow. You are this, you are that. But that youth is hungry. You are telling that guy, go to the farm, go and plant. Can a man plant? Can a man go to the farm with an empty stomach? And so that is why we must start with intervention. Then we now talk about sustainability. Because sustainability in its own self is intervention. There's continuity after intervention.
Okay, very quickly before we go to intervention per se, let me ask you this question. Are there existing government policies effectively addressing food insecurity in the country?
Yes, basically. In fact, there have been a lot of... Okay, let's start with the regime of Obasanjo, General Obasanjo. There's Operation Feed the Nation. I think after his regime, in fact, this man came, may so rest in peace, Muhammadu Buhari also came, and he started with Empower. I remember then, during the Empower time, I was in the north, and we had a lot of beneficiary of this thing, getting, I think that was 30K.
30,000.
Then, imagine now, at that point, a policy that has stabilized some people fade away because there's change in government. In fact, there have been a lot of policies. There's Empower, there's NGKS. There have been a lot of, but the point is, we are not seeing the result of these policies. In fact, policies have been since even before, what's it called? Even before President Tinubu came on board, even before President Muhammad, policies will still always be in place. But the issue is, are they a result of all of this policy? If a private organization can do this and show it, and people can testify, so then why will a government that have the resources, the funding, not do this? And all we are hearing is the way they used to say it outside, audio results. We just hear that. We just saw it in several TVs that they've done this, but then we are not seeing the impacts.
Okay, very quickly, let's talk about intervention, as you put it the other time. What inspired you to start the Ibadan Food Bank Initiative and the Great Impact Foundation?
Thank you very much. Let me start with, we bettered Great Impact Foundation before we started the Ibadan Food Bank. Oh. So I remember I was posted to the north, that's Jigawa State, for my National Youth Service Corps. And on getting there, I proposed in my mind not to redeploy because I believe so much in impact. Okay, in my, in my place of premier assignments, I must make impact. And so, while serving, I felt beyond, the Southwest is totally different from activities in the North. So I felt, I can't just be sleeping and waking, going to school, because my school is very close to my lodge, and also close to, in the North, there's always like a, a cluster in each places. So I felt, no, I can't just be sleeping and waking. Something must be done. So I felt, okay, let me do what we call Personal Community Development Service, personal CDS. So I reached out to my LGI. Okay, I'm proposing to do this for my community. And what was the thing? I started with extramural classes, basically for students, teaching them English. Because, in fact, because I'm a Yoruba guy, and most of them are outside, they have issues of communications. So I had to learn some little Hausa before I can communicate in class. Okay. So I see that it's a big challenge. So we started with the extramural classes. In fact, it was so strict to the extent that we told them, if you say vernacular in class, you pay 5 naira. So all your money at the end of the term, we use it to buy something for the school. And it was fun then. So from there, we felt, okay, let's have what we call, ICT training. I brought my guys, okay, let's do computer training for them. Because I think it was 4 projects: ICT training, construction of signposts for the community, and one notebooks and pen. They did not have this, but now my AGI told me, you must get you must get the support of the community. You are not using your funds to do all of these things. I was like, oh, that's fine. Then I started reaching out. Some of the things that I don't do naturally, there's a mosque there on every Friday. I'm a Christian. There's a mosque there. I will fetch water for them. And they were like, who is this guy? I know, because I want this sense of participatory, and we became one. And from there, I was telling them, we want to do this. And before I knew it, one is donating generator, one is saying, I want to bring fuel. And we had this thing, it was a success. In fact, at the end of my NYC, I was given state award for my personal community development. And I felt beyond this award, the result of good work is more work. There is more to it. And so that was where we started Great Impact Foundation. And when we started Great Impact Foundation, the idea was to impact lives through creative and productive approach, where we have several outreach, Belt a Boy Child, back to school projects, clothing and feeding projects. And we have been doing this clothing, and in fact, we do more of this clothing and feeding projects in rural communities. But then, at some point, we asked ourselves, why going to the rural community, in the urban community, especially in Ibadan? In fact, there are people that face more hunger than, because they don't have access to farm. They don't have access to just go to the farm and say, let me plug this and eat. They are in the urban center. How do we address that? And we felt that let's start about the food bank. There's nothing. In fact, most of the time, people thought about the food bank is a state government project. And that's why most of our outreach, we say it's not a state government project. But yet, we still need support from the government, from the state government. But then we felt, okay, this is the time to eradicate hunger and poverty in Oyo State. So that was how it started. So
how can grassroots-led initiatives like yours work hand in hand with government policies?
All right.
They have their standing policies and then bringing yours and then blending it together to make it work for the good of the people.
All right. Thank you very much. In fact, the best way for government to work is ensuring that they partner with these grassroots. For example, if Oyo State government wants to say we are reaching out to people in Ojaba today, most of the time we have the data of these people, because we don't just go for outreach. We do what we call, for example, if you are going for a community outreach today, we do what we call pre-outreach. So the essence of the pre-outreach is to have the information of these people.
You have a database.
Yes. So you go to a house, you ask them, how many are you in your community? How many are you in your household? How many children did you swim? We want to be sure that they actually need this particular box that we are giving them. We call it box of love. We want to be sure that, okay, why, there is order of, you say you are hungry, there are more people that are hungrier than you. In fact, we've been to several communities. People will say, okay, we have 100 box of love, we've exhausted it. And you see people say that this family need the box of love more than my family. You start seeing compassion there. You start seeing, and I tell you, if government want to do this, because of the bureaucracy there, they give it to their people. And that is why we say that policies, food banks like this, that's why we say government can partner with private organization. You remember a scenario that happened, and I think sometimes ago, this is not to, when we talked about, what was it called, Stampede, that happened because of distribution. And we used to say something, massive distribution doesn't have to resolve in Stampede if there are partnerships. That's one thing about partnership. Collaborations bring in win-win situations. We want to do this, you also want to do this. Why now reach out to us that we have the data, we have the volunteers? For now, the food bank has over 120 volunteers that are willing to work. If they say there is outreach tomorrow, everybody will come out and we are saying, okay, where are we going? Because there are people that are ready to serve the state, ready to serve the community without collecting a dime. You just want to give back to the society. But then our level of trust with the government, I won't say it's on the low, it's still there. But then when there's partnership and there's reports, okay, this is what we have done, then go and verify. Did they truly do this? I think everybody is good.
Okay, now let me ask you this question. You have worked with over 130 volunteers as regards what we have, and then how do you keep them motivated to always want to come out to do this with you at all times?
All right, thank you. I think basically one of the things we do tell our volunteers is, I think there are two things I used to say. Volunteers are not paid, not because they are worthless, but because they are priceless. Another word is, volunteers don't have the time, we just have the heart. So you see people coming out, I want to do this. They just have the heart to reach out. Someone that have been in an organization, for example, being busy and still saying, from my office, I'm going to volunteer somewhere. You'll be like, are you okay? Yes, that person is okay. He just wants to serve humanity. He just wants to give back to the community. And so how do we now appreciate them? In fact, there are several ways we are doing this. For example, if there is opportunity, in fact, basically now, I think international organizations, you can't work with most of them if you don't have volunteering experience. They believe more in volunteering than doing the normal work. So telling them you are volunteering and there's evidence of volunteering is a big thing. There is what we call certificate of appreciations. In fact, no volunteers will work with us and say, okay, he needs what's it called, a reference letter or something, and we provide him for provide it for that volunteers. And also, there is a place of awarding, rewarding opportunities for volunteers. Because the thing is, if there's any opportunity in the food banks, we won't take it outside, because we have professionals. Apart from, we have photographers that they are not collecting a dime, and they will give us beautiful visuals. They are not, we have, in fact, name them, they're always coming, donating their times. In fact, some are not just volunteering, they're also donating their resources.
So how do you measure the success of your food distribution? Or when you do it, how do you measure, oh, we have done this and then we are seeing the result? How do you get to measure the success?
Let me give you a practical example. I remember we had a Better Love with an organization. We call it Better Love. I don't want to mention the, or can I do that?
No.
Okay, so Better Love with an organization, sometimes December. So where we went to, in fact, you will know this particular community, Ateda, Aliwo, opposite Aliwo. So we have a Ateda community, Aliwo compound, OJ. There are several compounds there. And after the pre-outreach, we did the outreach. Could you believe that we did that in December 26 or 27, thereabout. January, February, March, we will just receive a call. This is so this thing. We just want to say thank you, because that food came through for us in December period. They just sat down and they thought about it. Tí o bá share our food bank yìí, ebi o bá pa wá ní December. Hearing that alone, yes sir. Hearing that because of you, a family is happy. Because of your initiative, because of your volunteers, people are still thanking God. I think it's a big win. Beyond the figures, beyond the data, people's, not just one, not just two, not just 20, even after outreaches, and they are calling, they are saying, we just want to say that. They are not requesting for more at this point. They are saying that, because of what you have done, because I think that outreach, we have a lot of donors, partners, and the box was food, and they were like, wow, this is not a government. This is a private organization doing this. So our success is tagged basically in the impact.
All right, let's talk about community participation. When you go to communities, is it easy for you to be able to get across to them and give them hope that, okay, you will be coming back to actually do this with them?
All right, thank you very much for that. For communities, in fact, one thing...
Are they always willing to be a part of the process?
So one thing we always do in communities, firstly, we identify stakeholders.
Okay.
Because no matter, you can't just enter a community and you said you are this, you are that. Even governments understand the importance of stakeholders. And so then when they want to do any conference, any this thing, they invite stakeholders in that community. So we don't just go to and badge into any community. We want to know who says that, okay, if they say that there will be no movement in this community today, so be it. So we want to identify them. So these are the stakeholders that we sit down with, and we throw out our initiatives to them, and they will be like, oh, we are ready to do this with you. So, in fact, most of the time, they always hold us accountable. Beyond interventions, we want sustainability. And we used to tell them, yes, we get it. Now we have your records in our database. So if you have any opportunity for sustainability, and we also, in fact, we have plans for sustainability in our books, but you know, we cannot, without funds, without resources.
I'll still comment to funding and sponsorship.
Yes, we cannot do that.
But then, before we go into funding and sponsorship,
okay, sir,
let me ask you, what should government at all levels be doing differently to address food insecurity in the country? So
let's start with intervention first. I think by now, government should look at partnering with NGOs, organizations, especially food bank, to address food insecurity. Enough of politicians saying they are distributing aqua rice or a lot of this. Go to food banks, identify them. Now, that is what we do for organizations. If you want to partner with us, how many beneficiaries? We want to partner with so number of beneficiaries. And we tell you, do you have any community in mind? If yes, we will go, we identify the stakeholders and proceed. But if no, we get stakeholders from, but we know for politicians, for government, they have community in mind. For example, you want to reach out to 11 local governments in Ibadan. Fine, we enter the local government. Volunteers that are not willing to collect any. Now look at it. If government want to do this, they have to pay people. That's people that will do the distributions, right? People that will go to the community. They have to pay people that will get the materials. They have to pay people that would do a lot of processes. Now, just partner with an organization that is not even willing to collect any money. That they are volunteer. In fact, the people, if, for example, if the government is doing it, they say they are paying for 50 people that work, 10 people will work. But we are saying that our 100 volunteers are ready to do the work without collecting a dime. They are just coming to do it for humanity, to do it for their states. So I think by now, government should look at, okay, where are the food banks in the state? Let us work with them. And they should be big on delivering results and also reports and impact. So because the end goal, both for the private organization and for the government, is the result and impact. So did we actually do this? Okay, if they want to do, if they want to track it, let's do our monitoring and evaluation. Then go back. Okay, did these people truly came to your community? Yes. Did they do this? Yes or no? Yes. So I think by now they should start looking at partnering with organization for intervention and even both for sustainability. For example, for sustainability for us, we know that by now it's not just about distributing food. At some point, we have what we call family in our board, family farming. So where we bring all these households, we identify the breadwinner in particular household. So okay, come and let's come and teach you how to do either snail farming, what's it called, poultry farming, and all of these things. So give you the materials and the resources, then start growing them, then selling, buying. At that point, if it is 2,000, 5,000, 3,000, 1,000 you are making for your family, that is sustainability. So you will not solely rely on, oh, food bank is coming again. And these are things that at some point, if government want to do, you know the bureaucracy attached, you know the budget, billions of naira attached, but an organization is just willing, okay, just provide the resources. We'll bring in our resources and volunteers.
Okay, very quickly, let's talk about funding and support. How do you get funding and support? You mentioned government intervention, but then what other means, through other means, do you get support?
Okay, so before I talked about that, let me say something. I've always, in fact, it's not something I've always believed, it's the fact. And the fact is, Nigerians are compassionate. Nigerians are willing. There's this, Nigerians have this art of empathy. They just always want to help. They just always want to give. But you know where the problem is? The Nigerians don't get to see organizations that are transparent and accountable. For example, if as a donor, I'm giving you 1 million naira, tell me how did you spend 1 million naira for this project? The accountability part is what Nigerians don't get to see. And that is where we are big on. For example, so if you partner with an organization, we will give you your reports. This is how everything is being expended. So we tell you this is the number of beneficiaries that we reach out to. For a box of love, this is what it costs. So because we understand that, and that is why we are always big on the results. So in fact, most of our sponsors, most of our donors, they're always calling from willing donors. We reach out. Please, we need your support. We send proposals to several organizations. Please come and partner with us. These are the things you get in returns beyond, because we know that we cannot give money. That's what we're also looking for. But then beyond that, the impact and all of that. And we get people, we get organizations that are ready to do this, and they are ready to get the reports. Beyond the reports, there are a lot of things attached to all of these things. And they are willing. From there, I think in the next few weeks, there's a particular organizations that we're also working with to partner with, to reach out to beneficiaries too. And at the end of the day, we are telling them, okay, once you do this, in fact, what we used to do sometimes is, if your staffs for private organization, if your staff are available, let them join us for this outreach. So beyond the 4 walls of the office, let them also come and have what we call, the community part, the field experience, what people are facing outside there, so that they can also stay beyond the office. Let's come and do this together on the field. And people come and distribute. From there, I tell you that they will even love this they will continue to say it till their days in that office.
Yeah.
So that's what we do.
Very, very quickly before we go, you mentioned sustainability. Yes. Let me ask you, what is your long-term goal for the Ibadan Food Bank?
Okay, thank you very much, sir. So for our long-term goal, the aim is for sustainability is to equip and to empower not just women, not just men, families, because most of the time we talk about women, and that is because especially in the urban center, women are majorly the breadwinner, and the men are always nowhere to be found. And so, in fact, if we go to households and all of these things, these are the people that we see, only few men. So for our long-term goal is to ensure that after interventions, there is continuity. And the continuity is where the empowerment.
You follow up on what you have done.
So if every of our outreaches tell us a particular community that will not say, okay, we know them. In fact, now there are some community leaders that will not stop calling us. Okay, our plan and we tell them once we have the resources and the funds, we are ready to fly and do this.
Okay, lastly on the show this morning, what would you say to a young Nigerians who want to make impact but they feel powerless to do it?
Okay, for a young Nigerians that want to make impact, because from a personal experience, what I would say is you will never get the funds, you will never get the motivations, you will never even get the inspirations. At some point, it will not even make sense. But if you are passionate about the impact you want to make, start where you are. Start with what you have. When I started, it started with just an idea and people of like mine. Because one thing that is very important is along the journey, you will always see people that will reckon with your passion. We always see people that will reckon with, that will love what you are doing. So at some point, it will not even make sense. At some point, it will feel like what you are doing does not make sense. But you know where you are going. Just focus. Don't stop. Remember, you stop when you are done, not when you are tired.
Okay, so if anyone wants to reach out to the Great Impact Foundation, how would they do that?
Very easy. We can reach out to us through our mail, ibadanfoodbank@gmail.com. Also, our social media handle Ibadan Foodbank _ at Ibadan Foodbank _ Our office is also at Ikolaba, or Relay Street at Ikolaba. And you can also reach out to our phone number 08138685342. Again, 08138685342.
Thank you for joining us in the studio.
Thank you for having me.
It has been a wonderful session with you.
Yeah,
it has been an eye-opening session, let me put it that way.
Yes,
all right. Pokuola Olalekan Samuel, fondly called POS, is a passionate humanitarian, SDGs advocate, and a geologist with academic backgrounds from the Polytechnic Ibadan and Federal University of Oyo Ekiti. He is also a chartered project manager and a member of the Nigerian Institute of Management. Driven by deep commitment to local impact, he founded the Great Impact Foundation and the Ibadan Food Bank Initiative, reaching over 7,000 beneficiaries through various community projects. He convenes Ibadan Hunger Walk and the impact stories to inspire change makers. A recipient of multiple awards, including a NYSC State Award and the Nigerian Volunteers Award. And of course, he has been my guest on the show this morning. And that wraps up the big story on Daybreak Live Extra for today. The road to food security is long, but not impossible. It will take international leadership, intentional leadership, inclusive policy, and investment in agriculture, and the will to prioritize the Nigerian people above political gain. As always, the big story continues with you, the citizens, in your conversations, your choices, and your advocacy. Keep asking hard questions. Keep demanding accountability. Until next time, I am Samson Balogun, and this has been the big story, where we don't just report the headlines, we go beneath them. Thank you for being a part of the show. Stay safe, stay informed, and stay engaged. We'll take a short break from now.
Ever dreamed of creating the next virus series or telling powerful stories on the big screen? This summer, your passion for TV can become a reality. Our TV Practical Summer Class is calling all future scriptwriters, producers, directors, video editors, reporters, news editors, and on-air personalities. Get hands-on training from industry professionals. Learn to shoot with professional cameras, master editing software, and produce your own content from start to finish. This isn't just a class, it's your launch pad. Don't just watch TV, make it. Enroll now. Spaces are limited. Visit our website on www.dominion.org.ng or call the number 0706 777 9435 0706 777 9435. Dominion Television, your channel of choice.
All right, welcome back from that break. The show is still Daybreak Live Extra right here on Dominion Television, your channel of choice, where inspiration meets entertainment. Do not forget you can keep the conversation going by linking up with us on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Dominion Broadcast, and on X, formerly Twitter, at Dominion Cast. You can also watch us live on our website, www.dominion.org.ng, dominion.org.ng. And then you can link up with us on our YouTube channel, watch us live, subscribe to that channel, and then drop your comments. We'll surely take them on this show. Now, let's go straight to Trendwatch. I see that with me in the studio, Yemi Adelako, and with her we'll be making sense of stories on social media.
Of course, and I'm glad to be back here.
Good to see
Good to see you again.
Good to see you again.
Okay. So we're talking about something that has been in the news for quite a while.
Refused to leave.
This issue is dragging. It's just like when ASU strike comes up and then you talk about it, I mean, every single day for months. Honestly. You know, speaking of Natasha, I think the Akpabio's head in person of Okolugbo is saying a lot of things here, saying that, you know, I think, let me read, you know, some parts of what he said. He said, Media aide to Senate President Godswill Akpabio says Senator Natasha Akpoti-Aduane's return to the Senate wasn't backed by any court order and was a calculated media stunt. He said there was no formal notice to the Senate or the clerk about her return. Quote, in ground 23 of her appeal, he noted the land trial judge failed to expressly make a clear pronouncement, set aside and or nullify same accordingly. This, said, proves our suspension was never lifted.
I mean, you know, I think I once told you about, you know, there are so many things that has to do with the Nigerian Constitution that unless it is expressly made clear to the people, you will just be beating around the bush. And then for every part of the Constitution, for every section, there is a lacuna, there is a loophole that some people are willing to explore at all times. And I mean, look at where they are now. They are saying, look, even the court judgment that you got does not expressly claim that you should return to the house. So they will have to go back to the court now because this is another bold claim. And automatically the judge will now give a different verdict that says, oh, okay, we have, the plan now is lift her ban, let her come back to the house. But then this will continue to go. I mean, 6 months is almost there. Probably they will drag it until the 6 months is here, and then she will eventually return to the house.
I don't see her returning if she does not apologize. Just like you said, I think, but for me, I think the ruling is clear. That is what I read, you know, from the CTC. Though, you know, this woman, Aisha Yusuf, said that when they were in court, what the judge said was a little bit different from what is obtainable in the CTC. And so they don't understand that part. You know, whatever it is that went wrong, we are not privy to that information. But then I just feel like, I mean, the ruling is clear. If she does not apologize, I mean, to the Senate, to the Senate President, you know, she will not be allowed to come back. And of course, though the judge said that, okay, this ruling or this suspension is excessive, unconstitutional, and the likes. But then the ruling did not order a recall, because if the ruling order a recall, then the clerk of the House will be informed. Absolutely. Once the clerk is informed, the clerk will also inform the Senate President. And then from there, they can ask her to come back. And then she said, according to Natasha, she's not going to apologize for saying the truth.
And then she will have to wait for 6 months.
So how do we, and even after that 6 months, with what is going on, I don't see them, you know, lifting a suspension. because I mean, the court said that she asked to apologize because the one she did was a satirical, apology compared to what the court asked her to do. She will pay a fine of, I think, 5 million naira, and of course do, some other things. So she's not ready to do all of those things. And then the masses, most of our supporters who don't really care about what the court ruling says. Most of them do not even read the court ruling. Exactly. They're only following what Natasha tells them. And the fact that I really do not support how she went to the Senate House, to complain the cameras and all of those to cause, commotion.
I think, for me, I would say it was a publicity stunt. She wanted, to appeal to her followers, and then one way or the other, she was just there to make sure, look, I've been here again, or they have not allowed me to enter, into the red chamber. But then, I think we should move beyond, making a mockery of the red chamber, making a mockery of the Nigerian system entirely. I think it is high time that the government looked into what exactly is wrong. And then probably, well, we are about to have, or probably having the constitutional review, where all loopholes, lacunas, which some people are exploring, should be blocked in one way or the other. When there is a court verdict, when there is a judgment, it should be expressly clear that everyone will understand. Probably there should be a layman version of the verdict that even, an average man on the street will read and understand and digest what it means. Because sometimes when the terms are too big, so many people don't really care. When they read halfway and then they just drop it and say, look, I don't understand what is here. Probably that will help us. And
I also feel like we have a battle of legal luminaries, because look at the cross appeal. When the court ruled in favor of Natasha to say, okay, this is unconstitutional, Akpabio did a cross appeal. Some lawyers have come out to say, why should Akpabio do a cross appeal on that matter? Some are saying he's within his right to do a cross appeal. So we are looking at a body that can help us and tell us exactly. So what do we do? What would we listen to at
when
this
we get
point?
to this stage? What exactly should we
do?
And sometimes when there are cases where it had not happened before, there's no precedence. It now depends on the discretion of the judge in charge of the case. But if there are precedences, they easily go back to probably their law materials and say, look, it happened in 1885, this between so-so person and so-so person, and then this was the verdict. Then it will be brought forward and probably modified a little bit to suit the current situation. But as it stands now, I think we'll continue to have this back and forth until someone says, look, I think I'm okay.
I'm tired.
I'm just tired. Just go.
I feel the Senate should work on settling this matter soon, because it's a dent on the image of the Senate.
Aside from being a dent, it's a distraction.
A lot of people who don't understand the law or did not bother to read the ruling of the court will say, okay, the Senate is just trying to be harsh on her, or they don't want her to come and represent our people, whereas it's not really like that. Of course. I think we hope soon enough they will handle this issue.
Well, let's take the comments. I think there is a comment there. And the first comment here says, the most intelligent Senate president ever. I don't know what to say about that, actually. Okay. But then there are other comments which we can take on that one. I think also there's this one that says the justice system in Nigeria has failed. So everyone has a different opinion.
Look at that. Look at that. The people definitely say, okay, the justice system is not working. These people are working for the Senate. Whereas there are issues with the fact that, okay, what the judge said in court is quite different from what is obtainable in the cities. So these are the issues that we must look at. But then, if the court is unable to even resolve this matter, who do we go to?
Well,
that's a big question.
I think the federal government, the presidency should actually, this is time for them to wade into the situation and probably just call the two parties, the two warring parties, and say, look, this is the end of the road. Let's just settle this amicably. Whoever has been compelled to apologize should apologize, and whoever is under the obligation to accept the senator back into the house should just do it, and then let Nigerians move on. The distraction is just too much.
Station whereby international bodies will now begin to weigh in on the matter. Let's not keep washing our dirty linens outside. All
right, that takes us to the end of the show this morning. Convenient point to draw the curtains. We say very big thank you for being a part of the show so far. It has been Daybreak Live Extra right here on Dominion Television. Do well to join us again next week, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. every morning, Mondays through Friday. And of course, Samson Balogun is menu. Until that time, I say keep being good out there, keep being safe. Bye for now.
All right, thank you for being a part of the show today. Of course, just like I said, do well to join us same time, next week. My name is Oluwayemi Adelap, and I'm saying good morning.
you.